And today we are going to be discussing on the various ways of dismantling and saying goodbye to lifting nails. I'm sorry, I was checking something on my phone. All right. So first things first, before we get into the topic, a few items that you will always need, especially when it comes to applying acrylic nails. Hold on, just one moment. There's a few things that you will always need when it comes to doing acrylic nails, especially in the prepping portion. So it doesn't matter if you're using a drill or using a hand file. And let me grab this. So 3 top things. Let me think. Okay. Just as far as tools go, y'all want to start with lint-free wipes. Okay. You don't have to. This is optional. A nail brush. But sometimes I wind up using both depending on the type of nails that I'm doing. And hold on. Tell you too loud. Okay, and then of course, acrylic brush. I know you're probably thinking like, wait a minute, she always you of course you gotta have an acrylic brush, but this is a Kolinsky brush. It's by 2 guys. It is a size 12, and your brush needs to be of quality. I know whether it's, because everybody's pricing is different. So I'm not going to say get an expensive brush. Just get something of quality. Kolinsky brushes are usually good. 100% Kolinsky brushes are usually good quality, and they do the job. Okay? And they're easy to clean. They don't hold acrylic. Those are things you want to look at when you're doing acrylic nails. Y'all too loud. Marley and Tay, y'all too loud. Y'all too loud. Okay. So, I'm going to dive into it, okay? Because, or should I use my hand? I don't know, y'all. Should I use my chart or should I use my hand? I don't know. Or I use my, okay. So, let me get a cuticle pusher, a wooden pusher. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into this. Okay. Okay. So, when it comes to doing the nails, I think I'm finna turn this around on my nail. This is what we finna do, because I'm gonna turn around so y'all can be able to see what I'm talking about, okay? So let me turn the camera around. Oh, wait, let me clean the camera, jeez. I'm sorry, y'all. That's what happens when you let kiddos use your phone. Okay, can y'all see that? Oh, it's so blurry. Okay, I'm gonna just turn the camera around because that's too blurry and I need to really clean it.
Mom, Mari just almost fell my chair.
Y'all be careful, okay?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just gonna use my hand. So when it comes to starting on doing the nails, you want to, of course, push that skin back right here. And what you're going to be looking for is that skin that's on top of the nail plate down here in this area. You're literally just removing it. Now, if I was to use a drill, let me show you. We're gonna take this. Usually it'll be like your mandrel bit, and you're gonna take it and you're just gonna remove that on the lowest speed, because you're literally just removing that. And then when you get on the rest of the nail plate, you're only removing the oil, the natural oil off the nail plate. So you're not falling off a layer of the nail. You're only removing natural oils off of the nail plate. That's it. So that's literally the gauge into prep. Off rip, you under that on all 10s. Now, I will admit, when it comes to doing nails, if you are doing multiple, like more than one different person nail, 9 times out of 10, there one person might have a whole lot of skin on top of the nail plate, and the other might have little to none, which means once you push that skin back, you're not gonna have much removal to do, which is cool. Just make sure you remove that extra skin off top of that nail plate, because when you put it on there,
Time to go. I know you have so much fun. It's time to go. Mama tired, girl. I'll see you later.
good night. Good night, Marley. Don't forget your phone.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Say, where's my phone?
Okay, sorry guys. So the reason why you want to remove that off, because
Bye.
when you put the acrylic on top of that nail plate, what winds up happening is, if that acrylic is placed on top of that skin that's on top of the nail, go ask your mom and see what she say. If you put that acrylic on top of that nail, it can cause lifting. And a lot of people, they're unaware of that, because most of the time when they go into doing the nails, they first just go straight in. They don't push that skin back, and then when you don't, it's not even there because you really don't see it half the time. So that's why prep is really important. It's so important. Another thing I want to dive into now is more in-depth explanations of the prep part, but we're gonna go straight into the next part, because a lot of times,
Can we watch Sonic now?
yeah, a lot of times we tend to just use the simple dehydrator, and sometimes that's not what's really gonna help to remove the debris. So I'm gonna show you one thing that, so let's say you've already applied the tip, if you're even using a tip on the nail plate. Let's say you're applying that tip on the nail plate, right? And hello, let's say you apply that tip on the nail plate, right? And you've already, if some tips don't have wells, which means you don't have to blend the tip. That's what the idea of it is for. But if you do have to blend the tip, so after you've blended the tip and all of that, glued it, blended, cut it down, everything, what people tend to do is they just remove this off just like that, right? And of course, okay, go ahead.
Can you do some water for now?
Tape, mommy's on live.
Can you want to get some water?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, y'all. I'm sorry. But anyways, so a lot of times when you just remove it just like this, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that is not truly removing all of the debris off, because there's such small particles from the debris that doesn't get it all off. And then the next thing we do is we just go into applying the primer, right? Well, that little debris that's there, if that debris is not fully there, then you go to applying primer. So now when you put that primer in there, you just dipping it in there. There's some things that you can do to prevent all of this debris, and I'm going to explain different ways of how we can, get into all of that. But you remove it with this brush or whatever. Some people don't even do that. I've seen people just dust it off with their hand, and and then they just apply that primer. And again, the debris is it can be so small and have such little particles on the nail that what it does is you're literally just putting primer on top of it. It's not being removed. And then also that debris is, I'll use this as an example. So let's say like this is primer right here, and you're placing it on the nail, right? When you place it on there, guess what? Now that debris is on that brush, and it just got inside this primer. So there is a better way to remove, literally, if not most or all of the debris off that nail plate before you put that primer on. That's so important, because this is actually one struggle that I had. Was literally, I didn't know this at the time, and it can cause a pop off. it can cause a nail pop off. I'm not kidding. I'm not over exaggerating. That's one thing that can cause a pop off. Okay, so moving along. So moving forward, we've put the primer on. It's now time for application. Where's my brush at? Okay, so we're gonna dive into the application part, right? I'm gonna teach this based off of the 3-beat method, and the reason why I say that is because you can always apply this to any other method, right? Okay, so once you place this inside of the, turn it down some, Tay. Once you apply this, you start applying the acrylic on top of the nail. Everything's clear. You got your prime going on. Boom. Beat ratio is important. Sometimes you can place too much product, and then sometimes you can place not enough. Okay, so when I say not enough, a lot of times people are not sealing off the edges, the sidewalls, and the free edge. That's important because I don't know if anybody's experienced this. They're having lifting at the free edge of their nail, or a lot of times, most of the time, it's down here. If it's not a pop off or lifting up here, it's down here. A lot of times, what's going on down there is there's not proper amount and properly applied acrylic. I don't know what's going on with my talking today, y'all. Excuse me. Y'all just ride with me. Just ride with me. Stay with me, okay? Okay. When you get to that, I must just dive into the cuticle bead because, again, you got the first bead, right? You seal it down right here, and you put the second bead, which is 9 times out of 10, you're now completely building that apex, and then the third bead, you got the cuticle bead. All right. When you're placing the first bead, that should be your first 2 beads should be your largest. I'm gonna just say it like that, and then of course the cuticle bead should be smaller. It shouldn't. Your cuticle bead should never be the size of your first and second bead. I'm gonna say that. 9 times out of 10, the way it usually is, the first bead is the largest, the second bead is the medium, and the third bead, which is the cuticle bead, is the smallest amount. Okay. When you place that bead on there, and I know if you've been watching the channel, we having a date with Patty. So you take your bead, right? You place it on there, and you place this bead right here. So when you place this bead right here, this is one thing that a lot of individuals do. They place this bead all the way down there. You should never place that down there. And I'm going to tell you why. When you place an acrylic on top of the nail plate, especially in the cuticle area, what ends up happening is once it cures, it grows back and up. So what happens is you look and you're like, why is the and basically that's called cuticle flooding. And you're looking like, well, how did that happen? Because you don't want to place it so far back that there is no space in between that cuticle region area. So if you look closely at this now, I don't even know if y'all can see that, but there's definitely I call it respect. There's respect that each other, they have their mutual space of going on right there. They have there, you can see it right there. It's respect, I don't know. Y'all have to excuse me with my analogies, but I think y'all get my point. So when I'm placing a cuticle bead on there, I'm gonna place it right there. And one good way of doing it so it doesn't flood, your bead should be a little bit drier than you had this first and second bead. So when you place it, you have it on that the paper towel. Let me get one out. So you're gonna hold it on there, and then you take it off, and then you place it on there, sit it just for a little bit so it does not run. When you do that, you lift up, let it start forming, make sure it's holding that so it does not run into the cuticle. Now, when you come back in, you're gonna go pat, pat, pat. We're on a date with Patty. Pat, 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 pat. That way, when you do that, it'll seal it down. It'll say, oh, it wants us to go this. It wants the, you're basically signaling that product. Oh, I like your hat. you're basically sealing the product. By Cayman, you're basically sealing the product to go that way. That way, it when a lot of people are like, oh, how do I stop it from it? There you go. That's your answer. Honest date with Patty is how you gonna stop that acrylic from running down into that cuticle. You're gonna go pat, 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 and then you wipe your brush, and then you blend, blend, and blend, and your cuticle bead is done. Like, and that's how you'll have this result. And of course, you still that's sealing the cuticle bead. That is literally sealing it off. And then again, when you've placed it down and you're on your first and second bead, you're sealing it off on the sides as you go. So as long as you're doing that, you should be good as far as sealing it with the acrylic. Now, when it comes to, there's different methods of sealing this acrylic off, and you will dive deeper into that. I am actually going to go ahead and introduce y'all into something that was created. Is an ebook. It literally explains everything that was just explained way more in depth. Of course, it's all there. So go ahead and check out that link in the description. But these are like top things that cause like that helps prevent that lifting. But those top things that were talked about, those things that people aren't doing, those are the top things that are causing the lifting. So those are common things. I'm gonna say the top, but common things. So y'all go ahead and check out that link in the description. If you have any questions or anything like that, always comment in the comment section. Now that I've thought about it, so I am gonna be giving away a freebie. Okay, I'm not gonna say exactly when, but just stay tuned. Especially if you are a nail enthusiast, a nail tech, or someone who does nails. Um, this freebie is for y'all. So y'all stay tuned. Once the channel hits 303 subscribers, you have to be a subscriber, of course. And I'm going to put out the rest of the directions soon. So y'all stay tuned. We are not far from there. Again, welcome new subscribers. I hope y'all excited just as much as I am. But welcome to It's Nails to You. My name is Q. I said your name. Good night. My name is Q, y'all. But yes, comment down below, especially if you do nails, you're a nail enthusiast or and so forth, or a nail tech or whatever. All right. Till next time.